Welcome to Rise Unwind. Every week on our show, we bring you lifestyle tips, tricks, and more from all the people who know it best. And this week, we have this.
I don't care anymore if the skeptics agree with me or not. The evidence is there.
They may not live to see even middle age. So when we say dangerously obese, that's truly what it is. And this is a danger not only from a physical standpoint, but from a stigma standpoint as well.
I want to get that shot of him looking like this.
Ooh. All that and more on Rise Unwind. Between online shopping, travel deals, and holiday deliveries, it's prime time for scammers to strike. But there are ways to protect yourself before you click or buy. Here to share how to spot scams and keep your finances safe this season is Diedra Porché from JPMorgan Chase. Welcome to the show, Diedra.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me today.
Good to have you. What kinds of scams tend to pop up most often during the holidays?
Well, scammers are taking full advantage of how busy the season is. And so one of the first one we see is unrealistic deals. So this is where the scammer will use fake websites or social media marketplaces to lure shoppers by offering them deeply discounted items or popular items with the goal of getting them to send money. And the reality is that the merchandise doesn't even exist. So you really have to be careful with those. The second one is travel scams. So this is where the scammer will mimic a popular travel website or recreate the site with familiar logos or information that you're accustomed to seeing from that travel site. The goal is to get you to click into a link where they can capture your personal information or maybe even infect your computer. And then one we're seeing quite a bit is missing package scams. So this is where the scammer will send you an email or a text message to tell you that you've missed a delivery. And again, they want you to click on that link, but that link could lead to a fake login page where they can capture your personal information. There's one other to call out, and that's impersonation. This is where the scammer impersonates known businesses or financial institutions like your bank or even the government. And they usually want to tell you that something's wrong with your account or there's an urgent matter that needs your attention. You want to slow down, just pause, and make sure that you're dealing with someone credible. I even tell clients, hang up and call back with legitimate information you've obtained on your own. Those are some of the most common ones we're seeing right now.
And Diedra, how can shoppers tell if an online deal or website isn't legit?
Well, one of the things we always tell clients is pay attention to that URL. You go to trusted retailers, stick with trusted retailers, but verify the URL to make sure it's legitimate because scammers recreate and mimic websites. And so you can verify that URL is legitimate. But I also say pay attention to just generally fake deals. The deals that seem a little too good to be true, they probably are. And then also just make sure you are using a trusted payment source. And so when making purchases and shopping, try to stick with credit card or debit card payments because they have payment protection. So that if you need to file a claim or a dispute on the merchandise you received, you have a path. But if you use cash or Zelle or even wire transfers, you may not get your money back. And then just in general, use Zelle with people you trust. Make sure that you trust the person you're using Zelle with.
So if someone realizes they've been scammed, what should they do immediately?
Well, the first thing is to discontinue all engagement with the scammer. But you then want to capture any information you've obtained and then reach out to your bank. Flip over your card, call the number on the back of your card, and tell your bank what happened. And then you definitely want to file a formal police report. It's a great way to make sure you're sharing information that could be used to protect others from being scammed. But most of all, don't be ashamed. Share that information. It can happen to anyone. And so we want to capture that information so that we can protect others from scams and in the future.
What are some practical tools or tips to stay alert and avoid fraud this season?
The number one tip is to make sure that you're verifying the site. If you're clicking on a link, if you're signing into a social media marketplace page, verify that you're dealing with the site you believe yourself to be dealing with. Verify that information independently. And then also use the right payment protecting purchase sources. So use your credit and debit cards. That way you always have a path to dispute any issues that take place.
And where can viewers go for more information on protecting their money?
Yes, so they can just go right over to chase.com/security. There's lots of tips and tools out there that you can use to educate yourself. And you can also share with your loved ones to protect yourself during this holiday season.
Diedra, lots of great tips, great advice. Thanks for being on the show today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you, and have a happy holiday season.
Holiday shopping is officially underway, and this year it's all about practical gifts with personal meaning. Whether you're buying for the go-getters, the cozy homebodies, the kids, or maybe even the pets, there's something for everyone at Tractor Supply. Joining us with ideas for every type of shopper are Marti, Skold-Jordan, brand ambassador, and Serra, district manager at Tractor Supply. Welcome to the show, Marti and Chris. How are you?
Oh, hello. Great. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you. I can't believe it's here already. I got to go shopping for people, and hopefully hopefully the ones that are nice and not too naughty, I think. It looks like you've divided your shoppers into 4 groups. You got these, what are they? The doers, the comfort seekers, the next gen, and the companions. Can you break down what that means, and maybe it can help me with my list?
Yeah, and I bet you are on this list as well. Everybody who is watching right now falls in one of these categories, perhaps more than one. But the doers, they are the folks that like to always have something to do. They're tinkering in the garage or out in the shed. They're out in the garden. They have a project going. And maybe they have a project going because that Christmas list is a honey-do list. And so that's the folks in that one. The comfort seekers, I fall in that one. That's the folks who want peace, tranquility, well-being. You want something comfortable and cozy, especially as temperatures are tumbling. Next generation, those next gen in that list, those are the kids. We're trying to get them to think about the future. And then also we have the companions. They may be furry friends or feathered friends, but you cannot leave them off that Christmas list.
All right, Chris, we got to start with the doers. Great ideas for people who love to work with their hands and maybe get things done and off their plates.
Absolutely. And you know what? I actually fall into that category, which is great. And most of our shoppers that come in. Well, let me tell you, a lot of shoppers coming in today are asking for a trail cam. That's right. And let me tell you something. We just got a great partnership with Field & Stream, and they actually produced this one trail cam that came out. Let me tell you something. You put this on the tree, you put this on the post, wherever, and you will get hours of just seeing what your land is out, seeing what animals that come up to it. Really cool to watch. And as you're sitting there watching, why not have that stocking stuffer? Let me tell you, the tumbler, awesome to put coffee, tea, whatever liquid you want to put into this, keeps it at that temperature that you desire, and just amazing. And let me tell you, this is one of my personal favorites out there, the honey-do list. This DeWalt radio, Bluetooth, lightweight, add a battery on it. You could take this anywhere. So if you're doing some gardening, pop it in the garden next to you. You know what? If it's cold out and you're just sitting there in your garage and tinkering around, let me tell you, this will work for you. Jam out some music as you're doing some work. And let me tell you, we got so many other lines out there as well for that doer.
As a doer, I do too. Also, that trail cam, I might put it next to my trash can because I know my neighbors keeps going into them. I want to get that shot of him looking like this.
Oh.
That's what I want. All right, can you tell us about the comfort seekers? What kind of cozy and relaxing gifts are popular this year, Marti?
Oh, let me tell you, as temperatures are tumbling, we need to be warm. And so this vintage threads teddy bear fleece material zip up is really a wonderful gift, or maybe put yourself on your gift and list and get it yourself. Over here, we've got these throws. This one's beautiful. It's got flowers on it, cowboy boots, cowboy hats, or of course, the variety that comes over the holidays. These are plush, and then they are really snugly on the inside. Carhartt, people love their hoodies. They are very popular year after year. This year, the hot one that's for sale is the purple camouflage one. Of course, we've got candles, we've got decorations. And let me tell you, we have the cutest, the coolest, the best wrapping paper on the planet. This one has chickens with little lights wrapped around them. But we have some with cowboy boots, cowgirl boots, some with cows, some with chickens, some with dogs, a little bit of everything. Don't forget the extension cords to keep everything powered up, and the hooks, whether it's a big wreath that you're hanging on the barn or just some little Christmas bells. We've got everything that you need to decorate for the holiday.
And Chris, we're almost out of time. What about the next gen, the kids, the young adults, and of course the companions, the pets who are part of the family?
All right, I'll run through this for you. So we support and encourage our next gen out there for life out here. Right behind me, I got this zero-turn mower. Amazing out there. This will mimic what the parents are doing on the lawn. Hours of fun. With our companions out there, we have tons of toys, as you can see, tons of treats. These are great things. So all the way from Field and Stream, they got the duck toy. Throw this out, bring it back. Amazing. Also, we have our Jolly Peppermint Ball, big seller for our horses. And we got to take care of our chicks out there. Make sure that we get them those treats. So as you can see, tons of toys for everyone.
Yeah, and Marty, people are shopping both online and in-store. How is Tractor Supply making it easier to find and buy gifts this season?
Oh, making it easier if you want to shop online, that's great. But we really encourage folks to come in store. And that's a trend that we're seeing as people are coming back into stores. They want to see things, touch things, feel things, just really kind of get ideas. And so use our folks that work in our stores as your personal shopper. And if you cannot find anything, gift cards are always the way to go.
And finally, where can our viewers go to learn more and start shopping their holiday season, Marty?
Go to tractorsupply.com/gifts. And don't forget that we have daily deals going on every day.
Marti, Skold-Jordan, Chris, thanks for joining me this morning.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays.
Do you ever wonder what it really takes to turn your health around? This new series follows people facing life or death stakes as they fight for a second chance. Today, we're joined by Dr. Charles Proctor, renowned bariatric surgeon from 1,000-Pound Sisters and 1,000-Pound Best Friends, now featured in Dangerously Obese, sharing what these life-changing journeys look like up close. Welcome to the show, Dr. Proctor. How are you?
Good morning, Dan. Thanks for having me. I'm great.
Okay, for viewers meeting you through this series, how do you define dangerously obese, like medically speaking, and what kind of risks are your patients facing when they first come to you?
So these are patients who are overweight to the point where it affects not only their day-to-day lives, but their health in very dramatic ways. You're going to see patients who are immobile because of their weight, or very minimally mobile. You'll see very young people who are on a terrible trajectory where they may not live to see even middle age. So when we say dangerously obese, that's truly what it is. And this is a danger not only from a physical standpoint, but from a stigma standpoint as well.
And the show follows patients for a year or maybe even more. What are the first milestones you look for before, during, and after bariatric surgery to know someone's truly on the right track?
That's a great question. And to your point, we need to look for these milestones before we ever get to the operating room. These are patients who have, for the most part, lived their lives in a body that is much, much too heavy, and they've actually built their lives around that. And getting over that mental hurdle of saying, okay, I'm going to make a transformation, not only physically, but mentally and psychologically. I'm going to change the way I approach life and the way I do things. I'm going to set goals for that, and I'm going to trust this process as we go through it. I'm going to make sure that I do my part nutritionally and so forth to make sure that this is successful. That's what we want to see before we even talk about approaching the operating room.
And beyond the operating room, what support systems make the biggest difference, like nutrition, mental health, family buy-in? How does the series show that side of the work as well?
Well, to answer your question, all of the above, right? This is a multifactorial disease that requires a multidisciplinary approach. And especially with the patients of the size that you're going to see in this show, very often they have friends and family members who are codependent. And, the very first episode, you're going to see a mother and daughter who are, the mother is immobile, the daughter is very close to being immobile simply because of their weight. And they have family members who have to give up aspects of their lives to take care of these two every single day. So not only is this a psychological hurdle for both the patients to go through, but also these family members who have set up their lives around taking care of their loved ones.
And many people watching might be a little afraid to take that first step. What common myths about bariatric surgery do you want to clear up? And What does a realistic recovery even look like?
The biggest myths out there are that this is a dangerous surgery. Certainly there is no procedure out there that is 100% risk-free, right? But it is so much more dangerous to allow your body to go through carrying around this much body fat. It increases your chances of heart disease, increases your chances of getting things like diabetes, multiple cancers, and so forth. Having surgery is so much more safe, so much safer than not losing the weight. The other thing is, when I hear people say, well, this is the easy way out, it's anything but. I don't think you'll find any weight loss surgery patient out there to tell you that there's anything easy about this entire process. There's no easy day. Waking up every single day, it's a battle to fight even after the surgery because you're going through such a massive transformation in your body. And once you've achieved those goals, you have to maintain this healthy lifestyle, or else you're going to find yourself back to where you started from. So certainly not the easy way out, and I would like for people to understand that.
And the stories here are raw and personal. Without spoiling way too much, is there a moment or a patient breakthrough that happens this season that really captures why these journeys really matter?
Yeah, I think what you're going to see with each one of these stories is those breakthroughs can happen anytime from the very initial contact I have with that patient to even sometime way after their surgery has completed and they're believing for the first time that, wow, I went through this and I am seeing a change. You'll see their lives transform, each and every one of them, and becoming the people that they want to be and achieving some of the hopes and dreams that they always had that thought were never possible again. So each patient on this has their own journey and their own story, and that aha moment that's individual to each one of them. So hopefully that gets well conveyed and people will learn to love it because of that.
Dr. Proctor, I want to thank you for joining me this morning. You can catch out Dangerously Obese. It's available now on TLC. For clips and details, head to TLC.com and check out or look up Dangerously Obese. Dr. Proctor, I really want to thank you for joining me today.
Thank you. You have a great day.
Ancient Aliens is back with new episodes on History Channel, and the conversation has jumped from your TV to the stage. The live show, Ancient Aliens Live, is touring the country, and joining us today is the face of the series, Giorgio Tsoukalos. Giorgio, it's good to see you, my friend. How are you?
Hi, Dan. Thank you so much for having me on, and I'm doing great. Thanks very much. How about you?
I'm doing good. For the fans out there who only know about the TV series, what does this Ancient Aliens Live deliver that you can't get from a single episode? Is there a moment from it, from doing it, that has kind of surprised you too?
Absolutely, because Ancient Aliens Live is something to give back to the fans, because only the fans have kept us on the air for so long. Because without an audience, you can't be on the air. So thanks to all the fans for keeping on our lights. And so as a thank you, we are crisscrossing the U.S. together with myself, Jason Martell, William Henry, and Nick Pope, some of the stars of the show. And we present essentially a 90-minute immersive Ancient Aliens episode with photos, videos, discussions, and a Q&A at the end with the audience. And so if you want to see how we interact with each other and what our banter is, and if you want to hear us speak in full sentences, then this is a fun night out on the town for the whole family. And it's a little roller coaster around the world full of adventure, exploring ancient mysteries. So come on down, check it out.
And the season feels bigger with perspectives colliding, some new discoveries. In your words, what's new or evolved about Ancient Aliens right now?
Well, Ancient Aliens, we are now also covering modern aliens, because I've got news. They never left. They've always been here observing, because back then they were called the Watchers. Well, a watcher never stops watching. And so what were our ancestors referring to? They were referring to visiting extraterrestrials who imparted the first basics of science, mathematics, agriculture, engineering, all the medicine, all the astronomy, all these different things. And so I think that if you teach that to somebody, you never lose interest to observe their progress. And so I think that is what's going on right now. These increased UFO sightings up in the sky, I think it's them showing themselves slowly to illustrate, hey, you are not alone. And by the way, you've never been alone.
And skeptics are always asking for that like strongest piece of evidence, the one thing that you kind of point to and say, let's start here. What is it for you and why?
So long ago, I would have completely answered this question differently, and I would have rattled off a whole list of what I find, concise evidence. However, over time, I learned that any skeptic in this is only ready to accept any of our propositions if they are ready for it. And so I don't care anymore if the skeptics agree with me or not. The evidence is there. I mean, I cannot tell you how many times I've been asked, I love ancient aliens, but how come you never show any evidence? Well, in the almost 300 episode we've done, it's all evidence. The evidence is in the episode. So this illustrates perfectly that what might be evidence to some is not evidence to someone else. And so time will tell. And I know that we are sitting on the right horse. And, we are in the paradigm shift already. I mean, if you would have told me 30 years ago there would be congressional hearings in U.S. Congress about UAPs and UFOs, I would have said, you know what? That would be wonderful, but it will never happen. And only last week, a few days ago, there was the third congressional hearing about UAP/UFOs in the halls of Congress. I mean, we live in the most extraordinary of times.
And you guys often connect mythology, history, traditions. Where do you draw that line between legend and historical data?
Well, the line is that it is a fact that any legend, any mythology has to be rooted in some type of a reality, because not a single idea is born out of a vacuum. And so if you have, biblical stories of, let's say, Ezekiel, who is taken up by this glowing glory of the Lord, as he calls it, but then it descends and he sees that there's a wheel within a wheel, and it was as noisy as 1,000 waterfalls and things like that. So you have to ask yourself, wait a second, were these just visions? Did it all just happen in somebody's head because, they drank too much or they smoked one or two substances? That to me is insulting the intelligence of our ancestors. Our ancestors commemorated these things because they knew whatever they were observing was not ordinary. It was extraordinary because they lived in nature. They were way closer to nature than we will ever be in this day and age. I mean, they lived in nature. I mean, they had no shelter in the earliest of days. They had to find shelter. They had to, find food, hunter-gatherers. And so when you have the earliest of petroglyphs that have very strange beings in them, you have to wonder, well, how did they come up with this if there was nothing to base this upon? Because any psychiatrist or psychologist will tell you that you can't come up with a story unless you have a basis for it. And where is the basis at the beginning of history? There is no basis. We have a basis today, but back then there was no cumulative knowledge to draw from.
Giorgio, Tsoukalos, thanks for joining us today. Ancient Aliens airs Friday at 9 Eastern, 8 Central on History Channel, and episodes available to stream the next day. For tour dates and tickets to Ancient Aliens Live, you got to check out ancientaliensLiveTour.com. Giorgio, thanks for hanging out with me this morning.
Wonderful, Dan, and I can't wait to do it again next time. Thank you.
Apple TV Plus's epic sci-fi drama Invasion is back for season 3, and things are getting more intense than ever. The aliens are evolving, the stakes are higher, and for the first time, all of the main characters are coming together to face the threat head on. So joining us this morning is Erica Alexander, who steps into the series as Verna, a brand new character shaking things up in the latest season. Welcome, Erica. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I've been excited. We've been talking about this series for a little bit. For fans who have been following the series, season 3 raises the bar a bit. What makes the season stand out compared to the first 2?
Well, the first 2, they were fighting the aliens and they defeated them. And there's been 2 years of peace. So they spent 2 seasons fighting really hard, but we're going to find out in the 3rd season that all is not well on the home front, and they are all together now. That's what's different. They were fighting from different points in the planet, whether it was Shioli in Japan and Gaul, wherever she went. They were, oh, by the way, this show is an international show because they were filming in South Africa and New York and all of these places. It was a big I guess, lift, and they've been doing it well. And so it was the first time many of them were meeting in real life. So I was glad to join the cast just at that moment.
And your character, Verna, is new to the story. Can you tell us about her and the role she plays in this global fight against the invasion?
Sure. Verna, Marilyn was her name before the invasion. Verna is who she becomes. Was a people pleaser. And she was a person who was in support of her sister and her nephew and her boss and all of these people. But what she finds out on the other side, dealing with her deep grief, is that she becomes something else. And she uses those skills, those organizational skills, and to become a leader. And not necessarily from the greatest place, but she is very human in that journey.
And one of the big shifts this season is that the characters' perspectives, they all finally collide and start, they're forced to work together. How does that change the tone or the energy of the series?
I think it's always really wonderful for people who have been fans and watched the show, for people to start that they've admired, to see how they're going to work against or for with other people that they've never met. And, you know, we imagine that the actors are not necessarily the characters, but I think there's a certain kind of buzz you get when you put two things together, like peanut butter and chocolate. So I think that that's really fun. And there's a lot of really great special effects and collaboration with the productions designer and all of these things happening, that, you know, there's certain characters who can speak to telepathy and all of those things. So there's a great design in the way Simon Kinberg built out a huge world. And for the characters to finally meet and work within that world is what this third season is about, along with these apex predator aliens who are coming at us hardcore. And they are scary creatures, but they're also fighting these very human battles.
And yeah, you're right. The show has been praised for its incredible visuals and suspenseful storytelling. What was it like for you stepping into this world and filming these big cinematic moments? It was
a lot. I'm not gonna lie. You need to use your imagination in order to play these characters, because a lot of the time you're staring at nothing. I mean, nothing. Look over there, scream, clap, you know, and you just have to go with it. And you know that there's people who are professionals who know what they're doing. You stay in the moment and you authentically try to deliver something that's spontaneous and brand new and feels fresh, even though you're doing it over and over again. And you've got a lot of amazing background players who are inside of it. And everyone's just working to collaborate to make this world. I think humans are amazing, that we spend a lot of our time just telling stories. And we are desperate for people to understand who we are. I think that is a message in the bottle to whoever shows up, whether we're here or not to see them. We'll see, but I do believe that that's our love letter to the galaxy, is our stories.
Erica Alexander, I want to thank you for joining me this morning. You could stream season 3 of Invasion right now on Apple TV Plus, with new episodes dropping every Friday through October 24th, so don't miss it. Erica, thanks for joining me.
Thank you, and appreciate the opportunity to be with you.
Thanks for watching Rise Unwind. Please visit us on our website at riseunwindtv.com. Follow us on our socials and subscribe to our YouTube at Rise Unwind. And thanks for tuning in. You take care. We'll see you next week.